Oh, hey there. It's good to see you guys again. I got all my work gear on because today we are talking about double braid ropes. I know it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back and glad to be making another video. So today, on this kind of all about ropes episode, we're going to be talking about hybrid dependent ropes or double braid ropes. That means that unlike 16 strands, which get all of their strength from the cover of the rope, 24 strand or double braid ropes get their strength from not only the cover but also the core. So when you're inspecting a rope like this, it's important to not only inspect the cover for any nicks and cuts, but to also examine it with your hands to try to feel any discrepancies in the core that would lead you to believe that maybe the rope has been damaged. Now, these ropes are a slightly less coarser braid, so they will run much smoother than a 16 strand rope, but they won't handle natural crotching quite the same, but they do it very well. This is a section of Yale Blue Moon. This is my favorite rope. It's about 80 feet long, and it's more just my favorite right now because I have this nice spliced 80-foot section of it that is what I use for all my work. I have longer ropes, but this is my go-to right now. So this rope has been ran through just natural crotch climbing quite a bit, and there's a little bit of fuzz up here, but it still just runs great and works just fine. So these ropes are really nice because they pretty much all splice the same. So if you learn how to splice 24 strand ropes, you're not really going to have any issue splicing any type or variety of double braid ropes. Something fun that we get to talk about with these ropes, though, is that you have a different material available to you. In 16 strand ropes, pretty much they're always going to be a polyester cover. Any rope is pretty much always going to have a polyester cover because it's super abrasion resistant compared to nylon. So even though 16 strands could have a nylon core, that's not what's holding you. It's important what the nylon's being used for to give you more of that bounce or not. So this one is a polyester cover and a polyester core. However, my other climbing rope is Teufelberger Tachyon, and that's a polyester cover and a nylon core. Nylon core is sometimes a little bit stronger and it gives you some more bounce. It's stretchier. Polyester is much firmer, much less bounce, but nylon also really absorbs water. So if you're working in a lot of wet conditions, it's kind of nicer to go with something that's 100% polyester because it's not going to just really soak up all that moisture. But I do really enjoy climbing on nylon core ropes because I like that little bit of insurance, that little bit of bounce that you can get from the core. It feels like, I know these aren't dynamic ropes, you're not supposed to be falling into them, but even if you have a little slip or something or sit back into the rope, I do like that softness and that catch of something that has a nylon core. Now, another great thing about these ropes is 16 strand ropes pretty much only come in one size. It's usually that 1/2 inch. Now we have some thinner ones out there. With 24 strand ropes, there are so many out there. This is like the main arborist climbing rope because it works great for double rope and it also works pretty good for single rope. So these you can find in so many diameters, anything from 11 to 13 millimeters. There are so many varieties in between. The industry standard is pretty much this Yale 11.7 millimeter rope, and it works really great. The only downside with these ropes is they are pretty much hollow because just like 12 strand, so we have a braided cover, but the core is also braided. So because of that, there is some cavity in there when they're new, and if you're using mechanical devices like a rope runner or a cam descender, it can flatten the ropes a little bit, which kind of sucks. But if you're worried about something like that, you can get what I would consider a stabilized 24 strand rope, like Teufelberger Tachyon or All Gear, pretty much their 24 strand line, which comes in any size. And basically what those are is they have a 24 strand, or they have your regular cover, your regular core, but then within the core there are 3 parallel strands. So you have braided cover, braided core, but then they also run a couple strands of regular parallel cores through the center of that core, which doesn't give much space to compress. If you're going to be using a single rope device on here, it won't flatten the rope out so much. So Go with the Tachyon if you want to get something that has a nylon core, and the All Gear 24 strand if you want something that has a polyester core. Now, this is kind of the best rope all around because it has a smoother cover, so it runs hardware a little bit better, but it's still coarse enough that it's easy to hold on to, and they all splice pretty much. I don't know of one that doesn't. So you're going to be able to get a nice splice in all these, so you can use it for everything: double braid and single, or double rope climbing and single rope climbing. And I use pretty much all the ropes I use here at work are 24 strand ropes, other than my super long line, which is a Kern mantle rope. But you can get Kern mantle ropes that you can splice and use nicely with things like ring and ring savers, or even just making it easier to retrieve through a natural crotch. But 24 strand is pretty much where it's at. So if you're looking for just a good work rope that's going to be good for just about anything you want it to do, these 24 strand ropes are definitely the way to go. My personal choice is probably the Teufelberger Tachyon, but this Blue Moon has also treated me very, very well. So go ahead and check out some of these ropes. And just before we get out of here, I'll give you a quick overview on how these ropes are spliced. These are the ropes I've spliced the most. This is pretty much the only splice that I have basically memorized. And I really like how these splices turn out. They inspire a lot of confidence, and they're just super hardy. Really enjoy these splices, even though they are a little bit difficult to do. So let's go on over and check that out. All right, we're going to be making this splice in Teufelberger 10mm ocean poly, so that we can make this nice little eye-to-eye prusik. The first thing we're going to do starting out is just make our marks on the cover of the rope. Then the next thing we're going to do is extract the core from the rope at kind of the one end of where the eye will be. Then we're going to taper the cover because it's going to be reinserted back into the core. Good tapering is key to making any splice feel nice and smooth. Then what I like to do first is to bury the core back through the cover in the other direction. Then we're going to bury the cover into the core, so they're really doing this kind of handshake thing. And then we're going to taper the cover and kind of suck it back into that little section of the core. Then we're going to taper the core and kind of suck it back into the cover. And then from there, we're basically going to be finishing up the most difficult part of this splice, which is going to be sucking the core back into the rope, carrying the cover with it. So after a lot of kind of elbow grease, you end up with this really nice looking eye. So this process kind of takes a lot of thinking through, and eventually you'll get to your nice finished product. You just got to double check all your steps, and just add some whipping there to secure the splice, and you got a nice little split tail there. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video where we will talk about core dependent ropes or Kern mantle ropes. So thank you so much for watching. That'll be an exciting video. There is a lot of variation within that kind of genre there. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.